Josh Howard, and I am thrilled to announce that I have a new book on eschatology publishing this September through College and Clayton Press, and the book is titled Stories About the End of Things. Now, when you hear about a book on eschatology, you may wonder, why do we need this book and how does this help? And I think those are good questions. If we were to look at eschatology, most people regard eschatology as the final things or the end of things. And to a certain extent, that's true. Eschatology is the study of the last things or the final things. But one of the things we try to introduce in this book is that eschatology is more than just the last chapter, but instead, it's the description of how God is moving us toward those final things. So if eschatology does deal with the final things, how are we moving toward those things from creation to consummation, and how is God accomplishing those things in Scripture? So in that sense, this book is a sort of invitation into that greater story of eschatology. That is to say, it's an invitation into the great story of Scripture. What God is doing, how He is accomplishing these things, and then finally how He's moving us toward that final climactic place at the end of the story. The illustration I've used throughout the book is that of a tapestry. If we were to think of Scripture as a tapestry, it's a beautiful piece of artwork. It's something to look upon and appreciate, and yet there's individual threads that make up that tapestry. What this book has tried to do is isolate some of those biblical themes, which are sort of the threads that make up the tapestry, and to observe those themes as individual themes, to look at the threads a little more closely, so to speak. And in doing so, we not only appreciate the threads themselves, we also get a better sense of the whole of the tapestry. That is to say, the closer we look at these biblical themes, and particularly those themes that surface quite frequently toward the end of the story, we're able to get a better sense of the story itself. Not only our place in it, but where that story is moving toward. Each of those biblical themes and threads is a standalone piece in and of itself, and we've tried to examine those chapter by chapter. The conviction I have is that the better we understand those threads of Scripture, the better we'll understand that great tapestry of eschatology that God is weaving through all throughout Scripture. Eschatology is ultimately not for our confusion nor for our fear. God gives this as the message of hope to His people.
At my right hand, the